This is going to be just a Gaia Ascension update. I haven't done one of these for a while. And we're at a pretty interesting time. We're coming up on, well, we've just passed the spring equinox, and we are coming up on Easter in a couple weeks. Uh, which Easter and the spring equinox have a lot in common. Uh, they kind of form a window of events, and I just kind of wanted to share what I sense when I'm doing my meditations and kind of trying to find my own path through the things that are happening in our world today. One of the most interesting things is I definitely have the feeling, it's a deep feeling and a sensation. It also comes through my meditations when I'm meditating. We're living in a different world. At least I'm living in a different world. It's like there's an old phase or part to my life and a new phase. And it's been taking me a little while to kind of get my head on straight on what I really needed to be doing, which turns out to be doing more translating. So I'm going to be doing more translating, which I really love. But the thing is that I had to make a choice between putting out more organic Gnosticism, related material, which I've done for years and years and years, and some people have been interested, but not a lot, or go back and do what I really love to do, what really stirs me and brings me up, which is translating these German stories that are kind of dark. There's a lot of emotional energy to them, and they just stir something inside of me that I really love. And so it's kind of like that sense of duty. Should I do what I feel is like my duty, or should I do what I really love doing? And I've come to the conclusion that at this point in time, I've done enough of the spiritual teacher type of thing, and it's time to really do something that I love, because we are in a time now where the physical world is crystallizing around us. And that's what's really happening this month, this spring. The events of our life, good and bad, are really deepening, and they're in the astral. They are forming a future events that we're not going to be able to alter. In other words, I sense things locking in. And what we need to be doing, every single one of us, what we need to be doing is getting nimble on our feet. Nimble so that we can move around, physically move around and avoid or jump over some of the stumbling blocks that may be passing our way. And also take advantage of those opportunities that come along that will lead us in the direction that we want to go. Both of those things are going to be happening, and they're going to be happening at a deep, deep level. I just did a meditation today, and for the first time, I was really struck by how deep, how low at the bottom end of the astral, a lot of this stuff seemed to be, as it was crystallizing, it was settling into its final shape, taking its final form. And because of that, in this, I've been following Gaia's Ascension since 2010. 2010, now it's 2023. That's 13 years, for 15 years, okay, that I've been following Gaia's Ascension. And I remember following it, and it was way up here, and it was all this crown chakra stuff. Everybody that was able to tune in to where the activity was were working with crown chakra energies. And I remember when I started to tell people and I started to share, it's like, forget about those crown chakra energies now. We got to be worried about what's in the heart. And gradually, that's what everybody else started talking about too. Was follow what's in your heart. Don't be such a head trip thing. Your heart knows the wisdom. And over the last couple of years, what I've really been noticing, or what I've been feeling, what I've been directed to, is work with that etheric energies, connect with the earth, root chakra energies that activate and operate with the root chakra energies, because in this new age, we're starting back at the bottom again, and literally the root chakra energies, the lowest possible energies, those etheric energies, are going to be the active and dominant energies. And the visions, the meditations that I was having today confirmed that even more radically so. And so what I'm saying is, it's too late. We're there. If you haven't done the work, if you haven't gotten where you are, what you should be worried about right now, what you should be thinking about right now, is your current physical circumstances in your life. And you should be trying to get your act together as much as you can. And there's another thing that I noticed that is very important. And this has been the last year and a half, the last year or whatever, I've been unable. It seemed like I've been unable to do any translating. I was so caught up in the Ukraine-Russia thing. I was so caught up in the COVID thing. I was so caught up in what's going on in the financial markets. And I've wasted, you could say wasted, the last year and a half glued to the computer screen, watching and listening to garbage. Because I'm going to tell you something that I know from personal experience, and how the Gaia's ascension started at the highest levels and has gradually been working down. I'll tell you something right straight out. Everything that has happened has turned out in the best way possible for humanity. The easiest way, the path of least harm. You can't have a path of no harm because the world is too divided. There's too much hostility and disagreement. But the gridlock that has appeared has acted to keep everything from moving. And as a result, everything has tried to keep the status quo. It's tried to stay the same as long as possible. And as we enter these final stages, that is going to continue to be true. The status quo will hold as long as it is possible to do that. And it'll do that so that the least amount of damage, the least amount of pain and suffering will occur. So that's a good thing. That's something to really be proud of. But another thing, and here's the second thing that I'm going to leave you with for this message, which is it is time for every one of us to act creatively and energetically to create the type of world that we want to live in. We have to act out of a passion in doing the things that we love. For me, that means forgetting all this other stuff, focusing on translating. That is what I love. That's what I'm passionate about. And that's what the world needs right now. It needs those messages, those stories, because there's something special about the stories that I translate. They're very, you could say, Plutonian. And Pluto and those Plutonian energies are energies of insurrection, of rebellion, tearing down and building up. And we need to get out of our heads. Those stories help us to get out of our heads. So that's one of the reasons that they are probably the most important thing that I can be doing now. But I kind of digress. What I'm really getting at is, sure, passive entertainment looking at the news, maybe playing a computer game for a few hours in a day, or listening to some music that you really love. That is, we need that. We need some of those things that make us happy that way. But we need to be creatively doing something, expressing ourselves, going towards some goal. We cannot be passive the whole time. There's a war going on in our society, and what this war is doing is it is trying to keep everybody passive so they don't move. And what we need to do is we need to be moving. We need to be moving toward our goal and not be continuously distracted like I have been continuously distracted for the last year and a half. It's okay to be distracted for a couple hours during the day, but we need the other hours in the day, we need to be working toward and moving toward whatever goal that we are passionate about. We need to be actively working to create the type of world we want to live in. It's time. And for those that don't act, they're going to be acted upon. And for those that act, they're going to be able to skip some of the rough spots. Because all the waiting is over. The waiting's done. Gaia's Ascension is here. Some of us are moving into that new world. We're moving into that ascended world. We are locking in to our new positions, whatever those positions are. And for me, the position that I'm locking myself into is that of translating. I don't know what your position is that you're locking into, but my role as a teacher or whatever my role, that's in the past. It's done. If you haven't gotten my message by now, it's too late. I'll still be putting out some things like this or whatever, but mainly I'm going to be working on my stories because the world needs those stories. Thank you for listening. Get out there and go for the goal. Thank you.